Jérôme, welcome. Let's get straight into this. And I guess it's a tough first question. Recent JCDecaux research shows that 77% of travelling passengers take action after being exposed to airport advertising. Now, that is a remarkably high number. Two questions emerge from this. First, how was this number quantified, especially as it is in total contrast to actual purchase conversions of 15% or less at airports? And second, how do you see this influencing advertiser strategies for airport campaigns?
Thank you, Peter. The thing is that we made the decision to run this global research with Ipsos. It was last year, between October to December 2023. It was an online research covering 14 different countries and exposed to more than 11,000 interviews. So the thing it was for this related question, it was what are the actions that the passenger, I would say, exposed to a campaign were doing after viewing this campaign. So it was not only related to, I would say, travel retail campaign. It was more global. So that's why it's impossible to link, I will say, this 77% who take an action with the conversion of this 15%. The thing is that you have to overview, I will say, to the full funnel, which is from awareness, consideration, and after conversion. So the thing is that for here, the scope is more global because you could get this action to go on a website, to talk with friends about what you've seen, and not only to go directly to the shop and to buy the product. Because here it's more global. It could be, I will say, an advertising campaign related to, I will say, a B2B brand. So it's completely different. But you're right that it's very important in this funnel. And that's why for us it's also to measure the effectiveness of a campaign, to consider that. But for that, we need to work closely with the advertiser.
So how do the advertisers read into this?
They're reading, the thing is, every time we have to remind them what was the objective of the campaign. Is that a pure drive to sell? Is that a campaign of awareness or consideration? And also to get access also to how efficient is the creatives. We could offer the most beautiful and innovative asset to display their campaign. But after you need to get the creative for a drive to store. If there is no call to action, no benefits on it, how they will attract the attention of the passenger and the future consumer. So that's why it's very important, and we're working with the advertiser when they are, I will say, asking and requesting this kind of effectiveness measurement to say, okay, but we need to get access first to the objectives that you have, and after to get some data to measure it, and to take in consideration the creatives, and not only, I will say, the campaign and the assets.
Can you now elaborate on how the bleisure traveller trend may be impacting airport advertising?
Yes, that's something that we've seen in the research, because for us, when we made the decision to run this research, this global research, it was to confirm and not to try to see if there is some new trends and so on. It was more to confirm. And first it was to say, okay, we've got a passenger who is traveling for business purpose, leisure purpose, but also a mix. And that's the thing that we've seen. We had this a priori that now you've got more and more bleisure, I will say, passenger, which is confirmed because you've got more than 50% of the traveler who are traveling for business reason who says that they could extend for leisure purpose. But the thing it was to confirm to the advertiser, so whatever the purpose of the travel, this passenger get a value versus, I will say, the average population of a country, for instance. So that's the thing that we were very strict to see and to confirm this value of the passenger. But there is this new trend. So this is a new behavior, but when we try to extract and to identify this pleasure, and for the rest of the research, it was mirroring, I will say, the global average on different aspects.
But it potentially expands your advertiser base, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Now, going back to your recent research, it indicates that airport advertising is seen more favourably than online and social media ads. How are you leveraging this apparent perception advantage?
For us, it was very important to get, I will say, some benefits of the airport media, because that's what we are selling and that's what we are sharing with the airport, knowing that we are selling an audience. And this audience, you could, by being an advertiser, you could buy an online campaign reaching the audience of an airport, and not to be only, I will say, in the airport with an advertising campaign, but we are the only one to share the revenue with the airport. So it was also to confirm the benefits of this advertising campaign in the airport, and to see here it's a different benefit. It could be complementary, and it's complementary. We are not opposing, I will say, our media to the online. It's according to the objectives that the advertiser could get. For us, advertising, and it was proved in the research, that in terms of, I will say, attention, quality, emotion, awareness, this is the accurate media. And after, the thing is that it could be complemented. We could see some people, when they are attracting by an innovative campaign, taking picture, and you could see it online on social media.
Sure.
So that's why the complementary is there. It just to confirm that we are delivering solution to different objectives versus the online. And just to illustrate the point, we had, maybe not in the airport, but in another transport, in the metro, and for instance in China, we have a lot of e-commerce campaign, because they have to develop the volume to create the traffic. But some of them...
The culture is very different there.
Yeah, the culture is very different. But the thing that they say, at one time, we need also in terms of awareness and the image, because we worked on the traffic, but we have to reconsider in terms of image. So that's why they are using our media, and for instance in the metro. So it depends on the objectives.
Just moving on, how are you adapting your airport advertising to cater to the younger generations? I mean, that really can't be that easy a task, especially when it's the baby boomer generation that remains the highest spending age group. There's quite a gap in that between baby boomers and Gen Z, for example. I mean, how do you balance this?
The thing is that we had a specific attention to this, I will say, generation, when we briefed the research agency to see in terms of behavior perception, is that the same? The first thing that we've seen is that it was mirroring also the fact that versus the global average, they are very similar in terms of perception of the brands. When they are in the airport, they consider it as trustworthy, premium brand, the same as the other one. So which is also something that you could consider that in terms of behavior, they could get something different. The thing is that this generation, for sure, they've got, or they're spending, and it was from the Kearney research and report that they displayed during the TFWA, that it was confirming that the dwelling time is around 2 hours at the airport. But 75% of this dwelling time, the people are on their mobile and the new generation. So for us, the thing is how to get their attention, because they are not only focused on one thing, and that we are, because you say that there is a gap, but the thing is that we are, and having some kids which are from the Gen Z, that we are doing sometimes the same now. Because when you're watching the TV, you're not only watching the TV, you are doing some other thing. So it's also the thing that for sure we have to consider.
Some of the behaviors are the same, it's true.
For sure. But the good thing also for our media, it's the interaction. they know how to interact from one screen to another screen, which maybe the baby boomers were not able, or it was not, I will say, direct to come to their mind. This generation, they know how to do it. So that's why we are delivering some advice to the advertiser. We're talking with communication agency for the call to action, that they will invite this generation to interact with our advertising. So that's, I will say, the adaptation or the transformation that we've seen with this generation.
Okay, just developing this, what role does digital transformation actually play in JCDecaux's overall strategy for airport advertising?
Definitely, digital is a key driver of our business. First point, from the hardware, because now, yes, we have developed more and more digital assets and installed digital assets in our airports. On average, it's now 40% of our total airport revenue. It's not 100%. In some airports, it could be more than this average. We could reach 70%. But we've got that. And this digital transformation, the development in terms of innovation of the assets, it's fundamental for us. Because in terms of creativity, in terms of flexibility, agility, quality also of the image, to display some unique campaign, it's a perfect écran, as we say in French, for the advertiser. So that's something which is key for that. On top of the hardware, because when we are talking about digital, it's also about data. Today, we could sell, I will say, to an advertiser a traditional campaign that we will go through a media agency who will buy the campaign. But now, on top of that, you've got the programmatic, which means that now we don't have to get only human relation, but to get on top of that some robot automated system that we are developing some impression, so the number of people who could be exposed to a campaign. So we've got this currency, and after this currency, we put that in some system, that there is a system where we put all our inventory, and on this system, you could get the availability, and on the other system, you've got all the advertisers who get a request to say, I would like to target the Chinese businessman audience from this period to this period. They're connected together, and they could go directly to get even real-time, I will say, a campaign. That's something which is coming from the online industry, which is now part of our industry, the OOH and DOH industry. So this is this combination of this, I will say, digital transformation from hardware to software now, and to give new opportunity in terms of revenue and for the airport. Because on average, our media, the OH and DOH revenue, is 6% of the total advertising revenue in the world. Most part is online. If we could grab 1% and to put that in, I will say, the airport,
it's enormous sum.
It's enormous. So that's the thing why we are in the middle, and we are working hard. We are investing hard in this transformation, because we are the worldwide leader, and it's our responsibility to develop that.
So how are you then helping brands capitalize on the special allure that airports have for travelers, and in what way are you helping?
Definitely, and it was confirmed during this research with Ipsos. The environment is unique. An airport, you could get a cathedral airport. The environment is unique, and there is this magic of the environment. So the thing is for us to give them access to some canvas which will be placed in this environment, and to get even a better perception of their brand in this environment. So it's a unique, I will say, solution that we're offering in terms of engagement and association of image. Because when you've got a luxury brands who want to be in this airport, they need the environment, association of their image to the airport image. So that's why with the digital, we are in a position to bring some new brand experience. You've got some brands now who are not talking about advertisement. They are talking about brand experience. And our airport media is in a position to deliver this emotion. Emotion that we've seen, and Paul Griffiths, the CEO of Dubai Airport, is always talking about emotion. And that's exactly what the airport media is delivering for the advertiser.
Okay, I get it. There's little doubt that the size and scale of airport advertising can truly deliver not just an experience, but a truly wow effect and wow impact. I mean, just share some examples now of what you have in mind when it comes to that.
The recent wow effect that we developed, it's at Paris Airport, CDG 2E terminal in the duty free. We've been able, and just before the Olympics, to install the first digital arch in an airport and in France for the Olympics. And we had Omega on it, and it's a pure immersive concept that the people were getting through this arch and exposed to this advertisement. And here you've got the wow effects, I can guarantee you, because I've been with the delegation, and that the first thing that they say, wow. So we are delivering that with the digital. But the things that we could deliver with, I will say, this wow effect, we could get it with no digital, and for instance, at Brussels Airport. Mercedes is investing for quite a long time in this airport and have developed an immersive concept that you've got to mix with a podium, a brand exposure with a giant logo, and very elegant from Mercedes, light boxes. And I can tell you that the people, when they are going through, it's a pure new experience. And people standing, taking picture. I will say you've got the result of the objective that they are doing. So that's the kind of thing that we have. We've got also a digital showroom for automobile brand for more than 200 square meters at Shanghai Hongqiao Airport in arrival. And the people are taking picture and putting on social media afterwards. So in airport, I think that's a unique place that you could offer this wow effect.
What about holograms?
Holograms, the thing is that today, the technology is not there to get, I will say, larger format. It's small format that you could use in retail industry, but not for our media. It might come. We could start to see some, I will say, transparent LED screen, giant ones that could deliver this kind of impression of hologram, which is not a real hologram.
Because you see it on the high street, don't you?
Yeah. So the thing is, so far the technology is not ready to get large format. And as a mass media, we need to get access to large format.
How is JCDecaux leveraging data analytics and metrics to improve the effectiveness and measurability of airport advertising campaigns?
For us, it's now mandatory to get access to data. As a mass media, with the digital transformation, as I told you, the first thing it was to get this currency and to, in terms of pre-planning of a campaign, because when you've got an advertiser to say, okay, I would like to get a campaign in an airport, but in terms of audience, to who I will expose my campaign, what will be the audience. So that's the thing that we made the decision back in 2016 to invest in an audience measurement to help advertisers to pre-plan their campaign. And that, with this new currency, the impression, which was helping also to get access to what I explained, to the programmatic world. So that now we're in a position to deliver that. Now, the thing in terms of effectiveness, For sure, that's, I will say, not a new request, but we see that there is a higher demand from, I will say, the advertisers, the agency, to get, I will say, data to measure the effectiveness. The thing is that, as I explained also, depends on the objective, depends, I will say, of the creatives that they will display, because we need to measure. The thing is that where you see a campaign, you remember what you've seen in terms of campaign, visual, not the asset most of the time. So we need also to consider that, and we need to develop a methodology for that. And on top of that is the need to measure, for instance, in terms of drive to store, we need to get access to the data, because that's the only one who get the data. So that's every time that we have to remind them to say, we are ready, we are doing some post-campaign, I will say, research based on some tools that we have. But most of the time we say, please give us access to data.
Okay. What technologies or trends do you see as shaping the future of airport advertising? And how much of a different experience do you think there's going to be for passengers in the coming years? It's crystal ball gazing, I know, but what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's not easy. That's why we've got, I will say, a team which is focused on this new innovative solution. That we've got a digital showroom that we could get access to some samples of new type of screen, and that we could test also, that we could ask also for adaptation with the main supplier, because they know that in terms of volume of screens that we are buying, that we will give them the trends. What is the future? And also in terms of, is that the right time? When you were talking about the hologram, today it's not the right time because we don't have the accurate solution. When you will get the technology, maybe it will be the right time and to deliver that according to what is the request. Give you an example.
So you can tailor make stuff.
Yeah. The thing is that there is some, I will say, airports that we say it's too early to go for, I will say, an iconic screen which will request some adaptation of the creative, because the market, the advertising market in this country is not ready. So if you've got, I will say, the asset which is beautiful and that you don't have, I will say, the communication agency who've got the business model to develop this kind of creative, it doesn't work. So, but yes, we are now in a position that in terms of digital screen, that you will get very thin LED screen, that the definition, we are talking about micro LED, that for this kind of new technology, which is today a constraint when you want to put a screen in an airport, because you've got pillars, because you've got angles, tomorrow it won't be a constraint anymore. You could get digital everywhere. The weight also of the screen won't be an issue in the future, because that's the thing. When we have to suspend a screen and it's according to how is the structure, and sometimes we can't. Tomorrow it won't be a constraint again. Transparent screen, also LED transparent screen. We are starting to see with very high definition that it could be a new solution also. So there is, I will say, a tremendous solution that are coming. Now it's what is the right time and to invest in that, because there is a cost also. And just to finish, because when we are talking about innovation, it has to be related to sustainability also. Because this new type of screen will offer also some new solution to reduce the energy consumption. Because now we could reduce the brightness according to what is the use of the environment, or according to what is the brightness in this room, and during the daytime or nighttime, and to adapt it. Now we've got that. We've got also with the new micro LED that when you want to produce black colors on screen today, you need energy. With this new technology, you don't need it. All the LEDs, the micro LED, will be switched off. So you could be in a position to reduce the energy consumption by 20%. So it's also delivering, I will say, better and qualitative solution and more sustainable, even if, yes, we are talking about digital.
Well, Jérôme Lepage, it's been a good session. Thank you very much for your time. These are things to look forward to.
Thank you, Peter.